How's everybody doing? Appreciate you all. I'm Arthur. And tonight I want to do a little something I wrote called Failsafe Switch. Okay. So there's this mechanism that exists. It's sort of like a fail-safe switch that defaults thinking back to the basic programming that you grew up with. See, we all have growing pains. Sometimes the process of elevation comes with turbulence that makes the ride a little rocky. The things that we learn, the information that we receive on our respective journeys many times may not sit well with us. This is an obstacle I believe all intelligent beings must face. And in order to grow, we must be able to accept, even actualize and appreciate our perspective and reality. As some of us would say, we go through hell to get right. Indeed so. I reference the knowledge, wisdom, degree of supreme alphabets from the basic 8 foundation, the 5% nation, Father Allah and the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. Those sounds that I made are just words and phrases, but notice the energy they evoke, and that's exactly what I'm saying. It isn't as I asked you to pledge your allegiance, or even if I made the conviction myself within this sentence to promote any and all principles advocated by these entities. I just presented one idea and the root foundation from which it came on square. Instead of many of us being able to appreciate that for what it is, that fail-safe switch kicks in. Understand the phrase, we go through hell to get right, may very well be the information you need to make it past your latest obstacle in life. Through further examination, you may have realized that the phrase is about the blessing of adversity and how to make it past our everyday challenges. Nothing worth having comes easy. But because it wasn't wrapped in the specific packaging that you become accustomed to receiving your messages in, it gets instantly rejected, and the focus becomes all derogatory information we can muster on anyone who subscribes to such subjects. This switch is more than just imaginary and more than just trivial. It's pivotal, a principle that we live, die, and abide by. You see, this thinking mechanism is the reason they killed and till. It's the reason why 12 o'clock on Sunday is the most segregated time in America. It's the reason why we push some of our children to elevate and promote them towards greatness while others get discriminating looks in the faces. Because the disposition of a child rubs you wrong, push them away and ignore their talents and positive traits. It's the reason why it's more likely for white suspects to make it from handcuffed police custody, but as we all know, George Floyd wasn't so lucky. Philando Castile wasn't quite so lucky. Booker and Jean wasn't quite so lucky, was he? I laugh because I guess that could have happened to me once. I lived in an exclusively white neighborhood aside from me and my 6-year-old son in the Outer Banks, North Carolina, Killdale Hills to be exact. Anyway, I made friends with an offshore fisherman who lived directly across the street from us with his girlfriend when he was on land anyways. I didn't hang out with him a lot. We stood outside and drank beers a few times. It was his girlfriend I would see more often. She was there most of the time by herself. She would ride this colorful beach cruiser back and forth to the grocery store and was reminiscent to me of someone I'd seen on E-Haul. I had laughed to myself about that one. I remember him asking me to look out for him when he was gone if I didn't mind. I was like, sure, not at all. Well, one day I seen his truck in the driveway and figured that the neighborly thing to do would be to go over and speak. The front door was open, the screen door was closed. It even looked as though they had a few friends over, so I stepped up on the first step, knocked on the door a few times, then stepped back, wait for someone to come out, you know. Seen his girlfriend coming towards the door with her head down while still talking to her guest. When she got to the screen, opened it, and looked up at me, she immediately screamed to the top of her lungs. Now, as a man, especially one raised in Baltimore City, I'm not one to commonly admit to being afraid. I mean, I'm from the land of the free and the home of the brave. That's what Francis Scott Key wrote that, in case you didn't know. But when she screamed to the top of her lungs like that, I was freaking frightened. And I'm not talking about maybe she has a gun or the police are going to come frightened. I'm talking about poltergeist. The little girl stuck in the TV, frightened, not frightened. I thought her head was going to spin around. But you see, I was okay as long as I was across the street. We could wave and be cordial with each other, but when I showed up at her doorstep, Karen's fail-safe switched, and she defaulted to the already existing mind states
thoughts and opinions which are obviously rooted in extreme fear. You know, because black people are scary. And it's what's funny because you think we wouldn't think the same, but race goes the same way. Many of us like to project this image of race being a game of powers where we are all in our respective corners and we all discriminate against each other equally, but that's not the case now, is it? The truth is that race goes one way. White is right, and just like most whites think that black is bad, so do black people. And it's why we straighten our hair and bleach our skin. It's why we buy blue contact lenses. And it's why we have to have labels. We moisturize incessantly and strive to move away from the black community. We have to be more than or better than someone else's perceptions of black. It's the reason why many of us default when I mention the 5% in the Nation of Islam and begin to degrade those ideas in our minds, but it doesn't stop there. It's the reason why when a man by the name of Gavin Long decided to take on the Baton Rouge Sheriff's Department, we ignored it. It's the reason why when Mike Xavier Johnson took on the Dallas Police Department single-handedly and actually killed white supremacists, many of us said it was fake and that must have been some sort of ploy by the government to trick black folk into doing some dumb. No, he was a real person. They were both real men who gave their lives to what they believed in. This fail-safe switch keeps the divisions that exist within our society in place. It is the proverbial line that separates the races, but it also continues to subtract and divide within the races. Information can be hard to take when it goes against what we hold on to and believe to be true. I can give advice to any one of us in our respective races and social groups about how to move on from the things that are holding us back, and at best, most of us will find a problem for every solution. You get upset with the man who holds up the mirror and shows you exactly which ways and actions are holding you back. Black culture, or what I like to call counterculture, the culture of racial designation, identification. I can see the anger in the faces you make you say, no! You just want to take my pain away. That's that fail-safe switch. The fail that keeps us safe from the actual aspect of reality that makes us separate fact from fiction and what is, from how we were trained to perceive things. Listen, there are more ideas out here in the atmosphere than I can count. So why would I inhibit my thinking by being closed-minded when I can be well-rounded? Thanks, that's a fail-safe switch. I appreciate it. Woo!